Okay, well, last video, this is video number 3. I know I said I wouldn't keep track of the numbers, but I totally am. Um, Last video, I went for too long, like 3 minutes too long. This video, I fear, will not. It might go too short, but I will do my best. Reason being, I read out loud the last 2 plays, but this play, Henry the Fourth Part 2, is not, well, I read some of it out loud, but the circumstance of my reading was not at all friendly with reading out loud for much of it, so because I wasn't able to read out loud, I think my comprehension was low. My ability to read in depth and keep track of things was not good. So there's that. So the first thing I want to talk about is Prince Harry, becomes Henry V, talks about the crown as being a burden, an enemy, a thing that saps your life and kills his father, a sense of responsibility. And I was wondering, why is it that way? Why is the crown a burden? And it seems to be, like, this is a pretty easy answer, but power. Um, power, the responsibility that comes with power. You have a duty to use it well, and to be worthy of it, and that it's calling you up to be such a great thing for the sake of your country, for the sake of the crown, which is itself a worthy thing. It's calling you up to be more than you're able to be, and it saps your strength. Like, you have to exert yourself so much to be able to keep that level of intensity going. Seems to be the general thing. But I think, so that's part of it. Power causes responsibility, which drains you. But another thing, I think, is that the truth is a burden. Ideally, you want to be giving, you want the king, who you're giving all the power to and all the decision-making points, whatever, you want him to be the person who has the most truth. And the debate about whether or not a monarchy is a good system of government is, okay, in all probability, the king will not be the most truth-holding person in the land. And you can't tell who has the most truth, so you just have to give power to someone and just hope that they have a lot of truth. Anyway, and so the more truth they have, the better a king they are, with other things too. So I think Henry V feels this burden to be the wisest and the smartest and the cunningest and just the best man. And I think I think I've said, but a big part of that is that he has to have the most truth. And I don't know if Henry V trusts himself to have all of that truth. Yeah. And part of that you can see when he rejects Falstaff. He refers to him as being like a false dream. That when he was living it, when he was dreaming the dream, it was alright, but then when he woke up, he realizes the falseness of it and despises it and rejects it. And so one of the ways that the crown is burdensome is that it calls you to reject all falsehoods, and some falsehoods can be very pleasant. Some can even protect you, and being forced to awaken to all those truths can be extremely draining and exhausting and stuff like that. Yeah. There's something. think something I said this last notes, that Henry V, Prince Hal, is the only one that becomes a worthy king, that he deserves to be king in both divine right and merit, and he would not stoop for anyone, is what I was thinking. But this is curious. I guess I don't know if this really is a core idea or not, but he says to the Lord Chief Justice that he would, he actually uses the word that he would stoop, his intents would stoop to the Lord Chief Justice, because he appoints him as his father, basically, to lead him along the right path. And I think this is very odd. And my conclusion is that, because it was pretty much just denying what I had said in that video, and my conclusion is that Henry V is redefining what it means to be king. I'm getting this from the Footnotes a little bit, but he's, when he becomes king, he says, like, these glorious garments don't fit me as well as you might think, and he's treating kinghood as clothes that you wear. That I'm a person, and then I take on the role of king, but it doesn't define who I am. It's going to mean I'm going to act in a certain way and have a certain appearance, but I am myself just wearing the clothes of kinghood. Therefore, I as king am not actually above you. I am just a man, but you've given me this role. I'm going to do this role. So, because of that, it's fine with appointing another man to give him orders, although they're not exactly orders. Just like really strong, advice that he's saying that he will listen to, implicitly, like, no matter what, because he trusts them. And that, I think, is actually, he's actually taking the definition that his dad and Richard II had, and says, no, that's not what a king is. A king is not someone who just by nature never listens to anyone else and never obeys anyone else. Instead, a king is head of state. His view of what it means to be a king is more like being a president or something. And he wants to remain humble, because I think he's seen the kind of pride that comes from saying that I am number one. No one can dethrone me, not even God, because it was his will that put me here in the first place, and God doesn't change, so I'm going to stay here forever. And the kind of recklessness, the kind of carelessness, the kind of unlovingness, the kind of pride that comes from that view, and I think he rejects that, and he says, no, I'm just a man. I know myself, and I know I'm not better than Falstaff. I know I'm not better than all these men walking around me. I know I'm not better than the Lord Chief Justice. I just happen to inherit this circular piece of metal and these nice fur coats. So I'm going to play this role, but I'm going to stoop, because I'm not actually at the top. But then he plays his role very well, and he doesn't have to stoop, I think. Yeah, but then his rejection of Falstaff is interesting. I think in order to play the role of king better, he rejects him, saying, as king, I can't stay around you. I don't think he personally rejects Falstaff. I don't think as a person, I don't think he rejects him. So if I had to put a core idea on that, is that your role isn't your identity. therefore it can change, therefore it can be challenged without you being destroyed. This video has become not very condensed in ideas, but I like where this has gone. I wasn't thinking a lot of things that I end up saying. I think it's good. Yes, sorry.